Good morning all from Scouse Farm. Probably hear a bit of wind noise in the microphone, so apologies for that, but as you can see we're still on the tail end of what was basically a storm last night, and I'm just going to show you a little bit of damage to a few of the things. But before I do, let's have a look at these strawberries. We've got a second flush coming through now, or a third really, and these luckily are hanging over so no slug can get at them. But look at that bad boy there. That is perfect. And got another one there. It's just still a bit more green there to turn red, but that little bunch, because it's hanging over, no slugs can get at it really, because they're not likely to crawl across there and down there when there's plenty more for them to chomp inside the bed. So there's a few in there that'll get ate. I think we can see one there that's been damaged, dangling. Yeah, there we go, see. And again, for those who don't know, what happens is a slug will bite a hole in the top or anywhere, and then in my plot the main thing that goes inside is woodlice. So when you see little holes getting nibbled in the strawberry, the slug will eat a little bit and then it'll leave the strawberry, and then whatever else is in the bed will get in there and just have a feast on it. So I get a lot of woodlice that go inside, and like loads of like green fly and black fly and things like that. So that's why I'm going more for containers and less for in the ground where I am. So let's get walking along and show you what damage was done. I've just stuffed that down the side, so that blew off a plant, it was protected. That's one of those 5 litre water containers, and let's have a look. Down here, the borage, that was free sown in there. I didn't plant it, it just must have landed in there. Well, that's took the knock and fell over the back there. And luckily the tomatoes are still okay in this pot. Up this trellis, they're not attached at all, they're just leaning into it, but where they are at this bottom end of the garden, they seem to be okay for now. And like a few of the bits of things in the pots have been wind damaged. You can see the sweet peas there, they've blown completely over, so they were climbing up that bamboo stake, but they've blown. But that's not too bad, they'll still flower. And I lost a few pots off here, they ended up on the floor, so I've cleaned up. But there was a load of compost on here this morning. But the main thing I wanted to show you was the cauliflower, because it's blown over, but also when I mentioned recently that it might start running to seed and I won't get it as a full head, distracted by the apples, they still look brilliant, and surprise, none of them fell off. Look at them. Oh yeah, gorgeous. Delighted with them. Anyway, back to the cauliflowers. Blueberry bush has had its main harvest now, so that's not a problem even if it does get damaged. And the carrots have blown over a bit, but they're just carrots, so the main growth is underground, not overground, so they're all right. And the onions have all blown over, but again they're mainly underground, so it's not a problem. It's this I wanted to show you. Cauliflower slapped against the fence, but it's no use to me now, because that's what happens when a cauliflower starts, let's say, flowering. So it doesn't form a head. These individual florets, they just start running out on their own, and it looks more like a broccoli than a cauliflower. So you want it to form a clumped head and be tight together, but this one, it was struggling from day one. I think it never looked like it was going to form a head. I was always concerned that this would happen, and it has. So being blown over doesn't help, but I have got one out front in the front bed where the leek flower is, that is still attracting all the bees and hoverflies, and that seems to have formed a head. And this other one, the smaller cauliflower, has also took the knock. Caterpillars have been at it as well, slugs, everything. So there's not even anything forming here really. So I'm going to just rag that out. That's now compost. And I did lose a pear. Well, I say lose, but we got some windfall on the pear tree. and it was off this clump here to the right, the ones with the few black spots on them. So they're still all right, but one of them dropped off, and it was somewhere around here this morning. I've picked that up, and it's in the kitchen now, so that'll soften up, and then I'll get my first pair of the season. The two other ones on this side that don't have as many black spots, they're all right. So this one still looks really good. A little bit longer to go, and then once that falls off, I'll get that in the kitchen too. And as happens often, we had a volunteer poppy that's just grown randomly in this spot, and it's a Patty's Plum variety, which is the dark purple, pinky looking one, which I'm happy about. I'll wait for that to go to seed, and then I'll save the seeds from that and scatter them about outside. You haven't seen around here for a while, so I'll go over to this side of the garden, and we've got the Rudbeckia Goldstrom, which are these, look like little sunflowers, but they're gorgeous. They're perennials, so once planted they come back every year and they spread from the ground, so they'll just keep doing this. So if you do put them in, you'll have to control them unless you want them to take over the space. And look how vigorous the clematis is, clematis, whatever you want to call it. That's it climbing up the side there, and this is called Winter Beauty. I'm trying to train it across the fence because you'll see soon enough that I've got rid of all the trees now, so it's just open fences. But in March they send little white flowers down, so it's covered in white flowers in March, so hence the name Winter Beauty. It's the first thing that flowers. And my salvia is getting massive now, so I'm going to have to trim that right back. That's this. And you'll see the Japanese anemone, and this is the whirlwind variety, the white ones with the yellow centers. That's these. And behind that was that staghorn tree, which I've now cut down, and the staghorn tree is there as a little pile of wood. So I'll leave that to rot down, and then wood lice and other insects make a little house in there, so it's good. And you can always use the wood if you've got a log burner, let it dry out somewhere first, and then you've got free fuel for your wood burner. But we had a terrible amount of wind last night, took a few casualties. But all in all, we live to fight another day, don't we, mate? Yeah. The little creature taking cover in all the pine needles that have blown off the conifer. See, look at the lawn now, it's just covered in pine needles, and that's from this beast. Dun, dun, dun. Oh, nearly snapped my neck trying to show you the top of it. But yeah, a bit of heavy wind, and all of this, if you come underneath now with me, all of this dried matter, it just blows down and scatters all amongst the place. Well, thank you very much for watching. I'm going to do some more cleaning up now around the front, because it's just as bad out there. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel if you're new. And Scouse Farm, we'll see you all again soon.